Hi friends, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build here on Chilligan's Island. Today we're going to be working on getting the museum moved, and we're also going to add a parking lot. I'm going to put that in this area right down here, and the museum is going to go in this upper area here. So the first thing we'll actually need to do is get these houses moved. So we're going to go and talk to Blathers and Pietro and get his house moved first. Now that that's done, we're going to get Island Designer pulled up, and I'm going to fill in this entire area with the asphalt flooring, or the street design. So it's going to be this whole thing, like I said, is going to be a parking lot, so we're going to get that filled in, and once that's done, I'm working on putting in the yellow lines to divide the different parking spots. So naturally I made several mistakes here, and I'm gonna let you guys see most of that. I probably should have cut some of it out, or well, all of it out, but just so you know, this stuff is, even when it's pre-planned, problems do come up, so but this is me kind of figuring out the spacing, because of course everything was not even, so I just wanted to figure out the best way to get everything down and have it kind of make sense. So now that I think I've got it figured out, just putting down or erasing some of the other mistakes I made and just kind of putting down the rest of the parking spots. Alright, so now that that part is done, we move into fencing in that entire area. And we're still using that same iron and stone fencing that we used in the entryway. We're going to start kind of decorating a little bit. I kind of imagine that luxury car would be Tom Nook's, and that front spot, of course, he would take the closest one in the parking lot. And I initially put down a blue one, but then I changed it to that kind of Nook signature green color. And I just kind of imagined that would be his car and his parking spot. So up in the upper left hand corner of the parking lot, I decided to add a food truck. More specifically, this one is a smoothie truck, and it kind of features the orange smoothie, and the orange is actually the native fruit on Chilligan's Island, so I thought that was cool. And on the other side, I just added a little seating area. You just did a simple garden table and a couple of chairs. And in my first imagining of this, I was able to get 2 tables in there, but I don't know what I did differently. So now I could only fit one, but that's okay. So I put the orange smoothie on top of the table just for decoration, and I put another chair down, and I turned it facing outward instead of facing the table because I thought it would be cute for the villagers to kind of get in there and sit down. And while I was working on this, I did have a couple of them sit down there, and it was really sweet, so I left it like that. I wanted to put something, namely the fruit basket, on that other little table outside of the truck right there. And I did think about putting the fruit infused water dispenser out there, but I changed my mind. I thought the fruit basket made a little more sense. And I think what I actually might do is kind of change the fruit truck from season to season. since right now I'm kind of decorating for spring and summer, I thought the smoothie made a lot more sense. So that's what I'm doing there, but it might change from time to time. So now I'm just kind of finishing up decorating the parking lot itself. I put a couple more cars down. What I did not show in that small little spot next to the black mini car at the very bottom of the parking lot, I did put a yellow scooter down there, and you'll see that in the walkthrough, or probably before that, but that's what I did there. And I put a couple of those tall lanterns just kind of framing the entryway or the walkway from the parking lot up to the museum. And I'm just moving around, doing a couple of little final touches to see what everything is going to look like. Next, I moved to the area kind of outside of the parking lot along the main street, and I put some seating areas. I did the plastic benches, and I put some street lamps down. The aesthetic for this island is mostly dark. It's black and gray and white, but I wanted to add a touch of color here and there. Like I mentioned in the last video with the flower baskets, I made those blue. I decided to go with the blue telephone box and also the blue plastic benches, just to kind of have it so it matches but also adds pops of color, and I thought it looked pretty decent. So moving on to the next day, we moved Butch's house out of the way so we can get started. And of course, I had to skip to the day after that, so the house is actually gone. And now I'm working on this area where the museum is going to go, and I'm making it kind of a courtyard area, so it's all going to be filled in with pathing. So at this point, I'm building kind of a frame, and I realized right about here that I did it all backwards, so I erased everything and started over. So those borders need to actually go inside. So now I'm actually doing that correctly, and it's going to form a box where in the middle there's going to be a special kind of tile that will go there. And see that, well, no, we're going to do the corners first and then we'll get to the tile. But it's a cute little pattern that I found. It's got a fossil and a little picture of Blathers in there, and I thought it went really well with the brick pattern that I already had. I thought it matched in pretty well. So I'm just kind of filling in those areas in between, and after that I'm going to do about 2 more rows of the special tile. Alright, so after we finish that, I go up to the top and I tried to see if I could get 1 more row of that tile in there, but I figured out pretty quickly it just wasn't going to work. It did not look good without the border around it. It just didn't make sense. Plus the museum was going to go right there and cover it up anyway, so I just filled it in with the plain brick pathing. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and now that we've got all of that courtyard filled in, we're gonna go and put the fencing around. I think I'm eventually going to maybe have some kind of entrance from that courtyard or from the museum area to the beach, because there's a long way to, have to go all the way around to get to the beach from wherever I am. If I'm there, then I have to go out and around, and I'm going to see if there's a better way to do that. Alright, so as you saw, we've already talked to Blathers and Tom Nook about moving the museum. I'm just kind of figuring out how I want things to go, and I had to take away one bit of fencing on each side. I put too much, but I'm doing it kind of parallel to the fencing, the back of the museum, and not actually inward with the museum in front of the fencing, because that gave me, one more square to work with, so a little more space was helpful. When I imagined the museum in that spot, I did not like how it cut off my tile and all of the pathing, so I decided to erase that and do kind of a border around the front, so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm going for right here. And so I do the other side of that, erase that tile, and just kind of finish up the border, and this is what it looks like. Now, even though you still have that bit of snowy ground showing through, I thought that the border kind of finished off the look, and it just looked a lot better than, having it cut off the way it was. So here I am finally decorating the museum courtyard area, put down some street lamps, some lighting, and some seating. Got a nice little fountain there in the middle. Now, the initial idea for this, everything was initially in the white colorway. Those planters, the street lamps, even the fountain. And it looked really good. It matched within that area with the museum building itself. But in the grand scheme, it just did not match with the rest of the island. Because like I said before, the aesthetic is dark. It's pretty much black and gray, so it just didn't make sense to keep it that way. So I changed everything to the black and the darker colorways, and I think it turned out nice. I even had that fountain in the black at one point, but I thought that was too much and changed it back to the gray. So what I wanted to do out here was kind of put some things out. I was adamant about not putting sculptures and things outside that you would see inside. That just didn't make sense to me, but it didn't work out that way. There was just nothing I could think of that could be displayed that would look nice. So I have some of these zodiac things and then some statues and things that you will see inside the museum, but I like it anyway. So right about here, that's really it for the speed build. I'm just going to go through kind of a double tour, as I'm going to show you how everything looks right now in the daytime, and I'm going to come back and show you at night with all of the lighting, so you get the full effect there, as that's kind of my favorite part, how everything looks at night with the lights on. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this speed build, and I hope that you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. Share with anyone who likes Animal Crossing videos, because I am trying to reach my initial channel goal of 1,000 subs, hopefully before my channel anniversary. But either way, I hope you guys will help me out with that and sub. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you again for watching. See you next time. Bye.